Spirit, please let the chaplain in. He at the front door chilling with a childish grin. We can now begin. Now the truth be told, we're riding on the light to let the youth get old, and following the one that will soothe your soul and take your bad situation and improve your role to release your flow. It's a long stretch to loosen all the nooses from the baby's necks, and tell the young ladies they should save the sex, and tell the young guys not to break their neck for the place of sex, but get the paycheck. And real women really don't play that. A wise lesson learned really, really way back. I used to okay that. The Lord saved me, Jack, from a life of whack. Come on.
Into the black light, exited the madness.
Oh,
Yeah, into the black light, exited the madness. You attend to
yeah.
the black
You might want to start paying attention on this next verse.
You attend to the black light,
Just give me your attention for a minute. Damn. Come on. We from the same cut, but playing different positions. A top secret message got the president attention. Do what you do, just make the good folk listen. And trust me, yo, it's not about who you kissing. There is a plan to see you chewed up and shit out. The devil's burning red from the fire that we spit out. We on to get up, the hell with that down low. Cherish the gift of the wisdom that we found, yo. Still on the mission with the daily agenda. Your head's been cloudy, so I doubt that you remember that I walk with the king of kings, Xyz. Just like the root in India, Irie. I volunteer, know the Lord didn't hire me. It is the spirit that inspired me. Water of life to show the chief where the fire be. We have no time for those that be acting grimy.
Yeah, I get it.
You see the light now? Boy, I've been talking to y'all for a while. You see, you thought this was for like some type of game. Man, revolution. Yeah. When you free your mind, your ass will follow. That's for real. And some of y'all locked up so bad, don't nobody have to put chains on you. Hell, you chain yourself down mentally, spiritually. Come on, free your mind, dude. You a king. Free your mind, chick. You a queen. Let me get something with some feel to it, some funk to it. Come on. I think I like that. Can we get some heavy drums in there? More like Caribbean, so Caribbean. Yeah. Yes, it is. Bounce to this. I'm just a black man, title, yo, you give me that. I like them imports, never push the Cadillac. And what you figure, Mr. Man, while you're kicking back with sick plans to get you stacked, making chickens fat. You know you into that, chilling with your timber cat. Intoxicated to the point, past sinful acts. Be very nimble, Jack, or Jill will get a water back. And have your heart broke just like a heart attack. Look where your power at, no, not the might of cats. It's deeper than tats and hurricanes and old maps. The spirit flows, so my folks throw daps. Meant for the wise as well as the spoiled brats. So you can fold up or either you can fold back. I hold no judgment over those that have chose crack. Terror over habit that has been proven to hold back. With God on your side, you can get your soul back. Yeah, we need some 3 parts on this mess up. I can't carry my boys that chorus. Come on, line up. Yo, I need y'all 3-part harmony on this. I don't know how you can work it out, but work it out. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it proud of the man that gain the world and lose your soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it proud of the man that gain the world and lose your soul? Into the room, you feel a certain doom. You might lose lose your hearing from the sonic boom. Out of the mouth is a sword and I'm taking you out. You try to stop me and I'm faking you out. Man, I wish I had an apprentice to build this work. Collaborate on synthesis. And I hope you remember this. Keep your enemy near to you. Far away, keep those that are dear to you. I hate beer, but I used to drink the brew. Heavily until the little habit turned deadly. I used to have a bud every day and all week. Intoxicated to the point where I couldn't hardly speak. So do the knowledge, that means hold your head. Let the past stay dead and keep a level head. And don't be misled. Remember most of what I said. I'm hot like times in a rock, but you got us hot for working on the block.
By the end of the night, how deep this music is. What does it drive the man to gain the world and lose your soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What does it profit a man to gain the world and lose your soul?
Mike's handed, I'm speaking candid. Understand this is the way that the masses demand it. I have wisdom, but God planned it. General media banned it. I blow flows on beaches and make you wonder where the sand went. The Taliban spent more times in design to destroy cities. My rhymes inspire minds. I'm known as Big Papa, but I ain't your daddy yet. But I could be your bro if you could get the concept. There be many that stand whenever I rip, but it's devastation whenever I rip. I spit flows that hit like mouth on tits, straight legit. You fake rappers need to understand that felonies, gunfights and drugs don't make a true MC. And I will do more than talk this talk. I will defiantly walk this walk. There's no need to spaz. Your nose bleeding while I'm beating your ass. You in the cesspool.
Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What does it profit?
Ancient tiny secret now. Yes. Did you not pay attention in your history class, partner? Wake up. Yes, sir. Partner. Wake up. Yes, sir. Partner. Wake up, son. It is written that there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. And that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So take your position. Don't you know you are part of that scripture, yo? Yo, you've been getting in the way and what you knock you down. Yes, but we gon' bring the light, yeah. A Max P production, baby. You know what it is. Listen, I'm known to tell you to fight.
Spotify's not working.
Back when they know it's a struggle just to live black. Can you picture that, Mr. Aristocrat? I'm coming from the bottom, rising to the top, and conscious is the tone on the CDs I drop. I won't flip-flop like a black bass, but I will put a message in the song before I hook your ass. See, we first class living, worse than slaves of the earlier days, and we adapted the ways of the slave master. I stand upon it, the very rock which put your people in bondage just to get 100. The big face kind, and it don't matter if it's making people lose their freaking mind. That's why I'm speaking mine. Hopefully they change yours to pull you out of these streets from these drugs and strange whores. Huh. Is anybody there? Is there love out there? Does anybody care? Is there love out there? It's like we died inside, no longer having pride. We're still for rides, a new skill to hide. And like the red tide, go and get our heads dyed. Rebel against the laws in the cities we reside. Sleep the circumstance, though our eyes open wide. Fail to coexist, let alone coincide. Eat chicken many ways, but prefer it fried. Like your man on death row when his relatives cried. It's death a mistake because somebody lied. And we can only pray that Christ is by his side. Convicted on the statement implied with no proof. Now will the warden
him cry that he killed another youth? I truly doubt it. That's why we stay in the booth. Just cause it ain't enough, we should demand and show proof. And if they overlook our voices, then we raise the roof. Which one of y'all dudes?
What's up, yo?
Seeing that I feel like I'm a slave, maybe slave, you know, man. You made a serious mistake, man. Slave to me, homie. Slave to the system. Yeah, sound like a winner right there. Come on. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. Hold up a minute, fam, let me ask you this. Did your last promotion offer you an ass to kiss? Hashtag for this. I know a better way than many, honestly. Wonder why you bastard shit. Your heart's got to be right to make it from here. For animosity and hate, you can place it here. No time for pity. We partying all the way. No time to be the victim. We got a call to take. Keep it square and watch God fall to fate. A linebacker reads well before they call the play. Hoping you always say, hoping we always pray. Invest a little bit of time in a taller day. Forget the ball and play. We got stakes in Israel with much more beef than the Shaw can say. Now that's the scholar's way. No lust for the cause of throwbacks. In fact, give them all away. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free.
What's up, baby? Herbo, what's up, beloved? What's cracking? I'm just gonna get into it. I went to bed early last night. Yeah, it was like 7:25 or something like that. And the weather was overcast. It was spraying like they were retarded. We came out, I think it was like around like 1 or 2 o'clock. I got up and said, let me go outside and make sure the porch light was on because it gets dark over here. A lot of people don't turn the lights on. You know, you got Airbnb. I guess some of you people celebrate Mother's Day. I don't celebrate that. And they were spraying like they were going crazy. So I walk out, I go back and leave it down, wake up about 5 o'clock, get this one, take him outside. So for that ground, he wants to sit by my feet. And it had drizzle, but the overcast is just ugly. It's not even normal looking like weather clouds. This is not to bring any shine, you know, get people all conflicted, and just sometimes take a look at what you remembered from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, depending on when you came in. And remind yourself of the clouds, right? There's a deep perversion that's going on. Well, we all know that. And I don't want to give it energy and drum along. The thing is, we never take the moment to think about what may be above. I'm just saying. There are things up there. That's all I got to say to that. Okay. And the rush is on to eradicate over 3/4 of life on Earth, y'all. If you think they're doing this, I mean, I want you to look at this timeline. I'm going to read too. This timeline. When everything started jumping off, it was already admitted that some Americans had died. And then they started saying, yes, we have some military stuff, like CIA, contractors, whatever. And they had, and then, you know, not too long ago, as I read to you, there's 10 posts right along the borderline. And then a lot of you have been witnessing a certain climb of certain individuals over the last 20 years. And you saw how they came in with the so-called Arabs, where they were Sikh. They weren't Arabs. And I used to tell people this, it was a Sikh, getting gas stations out of nowhere. And everybody wants to lean to the conservative or the liberal. And then you saw the narratives of certain Walt Disney and this, that, and other, where China has a majority hold on Marvel, DC. I mean, the things over the panorama. And then the more and more in the last 15 years, y'all have started to see people in the clergy, the 3051Cs, starting to speak some truths. The guilty conscience got the best of them, whatever it may be, or something they saw and made them fear it, where to tell the truth was less than the fear of death. And nobody still was able to put it together. And the ones that were being ignored because everybody was comfortable. Now I'm looking at certain liberal states. I watch these things from personal journalists, individuals that go out there and say they're with the press, and they're not with the corporate, because the corporate press, we all know, is a lie. And then you saw the FBI and all them things. All of a sudden, there's a lot of gay people in the FBI and the CIA. No, a lot. It's an unbelievable amount. And it's not knocking anybody. I must clarify that. But I still pondered them, in my thoughts. How is it that people are so ignorant of these things laid out right before them? Now, mind you, I didn't want to do anything, and I was being told, even my grandmother, you need to talk about these things. You should be a preacher, blah, 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 blah. You know the Bible better than why don't you come up, go the way you know the Quran. No. I says, y'all want me to talk, but you don't know how to listen. Why would I waste my time talking or explaining or expressing something that I did as a youngling? Almost beat to death so many times. Literally, I'm serious. I should have traumatic head injuries from all that. And then it got to a point where some people would start listening. It seemed like the light-skinned folks would listen more than the melanated. You just couldn't take away skin color. You couldn't just take it and take it from one place and disperse it and say, hey, look, this is what it was. No, it's the motherland. Well, who coined the phrase motherland? I don't even think they have it up here no more. I just wonder why people don't look at these things. I got to put it right. Though it's in there, I'm not going to use that one. I don't like using core because there's too many idiots when they're talking. So we call Africa the motherland because it's the birthplace of the human race. And most people over the last 12 years have been realizing that anything Florence Boaz or any of those guys put out was basically just a lie to rewrite history. The problem is it's hard to accept it because of what's been going on over there with the CIA, Mossad, MI6, and all those other groups, egregious groups, spec op groups, creating war, turbulence between nations and tribes. Look at what's happening in the Congo, and y'all don't even see some of the 10 cities and how they're being dealt with. Most people have a hard time because they want to say that the ancient name of Africa was Agbulan, which is pretty much facts, but they want to allude to it, Garden of Eden. And most people are starting to realize that that's a fictional term as well. The Garden of Eden, why would it be one place? And they had to spice up the story to incorporate a Jesus, Julius Caesar. They had to make things comparative to what was, to establish something new, to have another chord to run with that you couldn't dismiss because they taught it to you when you were young. They put the illusion in your head and they made it steady, because every time you turn around, you see it everywhere. Now, there's no real picture of Earth, nowhere at all. And when you look at it from a plane and you look at over 500 miles from a plane at a certain altitude, 500 miles, it's flat. But they tell you that every 7 miles, it drops what, how much? So you would say, okay, if that's 700 miles that way, at this altitude, then it should be literally a curve physical to the eye. Just every 7 miles for 100 miles, just do that little curvature. And it should be so prevalent. But then you have these people that come with this, and we know there's a lot of bots. We know there's a lot of people that's paid, and they sit up here and watch everything, and they go in there. If they only knew what they were doing themselves. But these are the people who follow Ron L. Hubbard after, and the other prissy that was with him doing the booty things after, Aleister Crowley. That these things have to be pushed in order for them to be comfortable, to know that, well, they've made themselves believe there's no God. They made themselves look upon themselves as if they're the origin of written. Now, there are other things that have swayed them and showed them things and showed them what they can be capable of. Okay? And there are some who are capable of some things. The thing is, with all this arising and coming about, what is keeping everybody so secular? I'm talking about, I see, in these little tent cities, these little camps of ideologies where nobody's actually correct. Now, I always say nobody's wrong or right, but there is a limit to how dumb and how wrong you can be. And we see it as prevalent. We see it with the people who sit behind this. It's comfortable because they believe they have power and we can mitigate. And I've sat around computer geeks and listened to them talk, and it says, that's the hope for the future. These are nothing but meat suits. And they don't hear themselves, because everything that, if we had the computers, which could have been easy in the 70s and 80s, we would have been even further along. But see, some of us realize that this stuff is not good. It don't need 5G to work, y'all. 5G, when I told you, is a weapon, y'all still don't believe it. But how many of you have been looking at the cancer rates going up? It is well known what those towers were doing with electric power lines. In certain communities, if you go to the old maps right now, in those communities where the cancer rate was highest, they knew they needed something more powerful. Well, that wasn't that it didn't exist. They needed to reinvent it or reinterpret it to be able to make it functional. And yet you have guys who we know who work putting up these dumb dishes and everything for internet or whatever. And I had a friend says, man, he had put up his third power line. His cable, he said, was so big he couldn't even fathom what it was for, because everything else worked. They have tests that they can do. So back to the base, and you know what I'm saying? And also they get these powerful, that's to push more energy. Where are they getting it from? You're your own device. With more and more people realizing this, France bought out of Africa theorists, the Gujars or whatever you want to call them, Chazars or whatever, I don't care. They don't get no label from me as other than just warlike. And they will never be healed. Well, that's just their problem. Okay? So we look at an ad in the Pennsylvania Journal on May 15, 1782, used the term African American. Near the bottom, Afro-American has been documented as early as 1831, with Black American, 1818, and Afro-American, 1788, going back even further. So the Journal of 1782 used the term African American is a complete lie. I went and pulled it up. You can see that it's recently made. But then they clear it up by saying Afro-American has been documented as early as 1831, with Black American 1818, and Afro-American 1788, going back even further. And that's after 1782. Why? What was the importance of not killing all the original indigenous inhabitants, but it was about destruction. So we're looking at the 7th century. Remember, everything that was happening when I was reading Arthur Kessler took place around the 1st, and all the way up to the 6th, all of a sudden things seemed to halt. And then all of a sudden we get 1,000 years out of nowhere. Remember, I used to be very minor and say 800. I always said 8,000 years, but I says, well, give or take 800. Let you guys play in the field to do research. I never seen none of y'all do any research. It's 1,000 years that was added on by word in Facts and Facts, Arthur Kessler's 13 Tribe, a plethora of other books, even in some of the National Geographic, talking about there's a missing gap between 500 and 1,000 years of time. That's because you have to raise an army. And how do you do that? Babies and a whole lot of sick little boys, sick grown men, supposedly, making babies and nurturing them and teaching them how to fight, espionage and weapons, and to better equip themselves. And they did that the world over. And then they came here. And we know this is the old world. There's no map that lies. Even a book, they have a map on Tartary showing this to be Asia Superior. China wasn't known as China. It was Cathay. And people have a hard time. Now they bombard everybody with all these little electrons and photons and all these things that disrupt your so-called DNA and everything. Okay? I mean, you got a kid live off the west coast of Ireland recently, little light-skinned kid, who developed some kind of magnet liquid or something to remove PFASs from the water. Do you think that them idiots didn't know this? Of course they knew it. Everything has been done on purpose. A lot of you have weight and stuff like that, right? I look at myself sometimes like, there ain't no way in the world. And I say, but I know that these things were done to affect the body and to cause cancer at a high rate when everybody thought it was going to be something else. The upper thoracic is always an ideal place to, that's the reason why they, to attack, why they created, the yellow mist of World War I. And, you know what I'm talking about, all right, without giving this stuff energy. When we talk about biological weapons or stuff like biological weapons. And then they came with some more that was used in Africa and places like that. And nobody could see it. All it was over about was get revenge. And they always had these rebel-rousing leaders, so-called fake leaders. Because, see, people like that in the positions aren't supposed to be leaders. They're supposed to be the guide, the vice, the hand of the people. And that's not what we've had. We've had people who hire sick mother suckers, right? Mother suckers, who don't mind killing. And they think that's the answer. And these people look at each other. And you've seen it in the little gang and clique mentalities. Do you see what I did to Bobby? That's the same mentality that you see right now with those dumb bastards sitting up there eating their excellent steaks and getting their adrenochrome and all the other crap, looking at everybody else like you're dumb. And the sad part is most people are. You know why you're dumb? Because you're doing everything that they've made you do, whether you like it or not. Look at all these dumb gang members, all these little goofy Greek society niggas. How many of them bought 200-300 acres and been building underground saying, look what I got for y'all? Look at all these goofy mother suckers in Atlanta. Talking about it's the black man. All they doing running around with people that call themselves saucy Montanas and all this other goofy stuff. And they run around and they don't have nothing to show for it. But then here come along Rick Ross and a few people and what's his name for Facebook? Yeah, we're building super bunkers and okay. What about all those people that y'all listen to and all the ones you chose not to listen to? And on the fact that some of you are still running with this Moorish out of Africa, Canaanite, Hammonite, goofy. See, these are the individuals, and some of y'all, I've seen y'all subscribe to some of these pages. Yeah, go back and find out who it is and unsubscribe. Because, see, that's energy. And some of y'all just can't help yourselves. You feel like you're supposed to be everywhere. No, you need to stand still, pull your britches up, tighten the pants, all right? Make sure they're through each loop, okay? All through all several loops. Make sure that belt's do it in the buckle or have whatever you got. All right? Secure your pants. All right? Women, put your brassieres on, put your shirts and everything, whatever you want to call them, and stop letting it blow around in the wind because the wind is funky. So all you're doing is cupping it. And the funk is right there. These individuals should have no meaning and no way on anything, but you choose otherwise. They can't even get their messages and everything that they can't even get it right. You know? And if most people won't look at these little tiny things, people often refer to Mother Russia as a personification of the Russian nation, created in the 1600s, just like Japan, China, and everywhere else. Those terms didn't exist like before that. And you know, you got Tartary, right? I said, well, damn, you know, they taught Tartary up to 1828, 1830. They was teaching Tartary before the schools were established. So those with memory could still remind themselves of that which was long gone. To them, as far as they was concerned, they destroyed it. It was time for a new phase. But it's a perversion because most of them partaking in it more new identity. Now, these very new identities are running around all hyped up and they're thinking that it's a great thing that they've had a couple of centuries to exist the way they're supposed to. And they've been living a lie while you have been betrayed by the very church, starting with the Mormons, because that's where it all kicked off. Scientology and all that satanic, whatever term you want to use. And then the Mason niggas. All these Masonic mother suckers, and some of you are in the order, and you're not liable. You're only liable for your stupidity. But there are those who are selected in those venues, right, in those organizations, to usher in something to be able to, because they watch them. They speak subtle. They have a very strong character, you know, that draws people in, and so they can incorporate different new things. And most of y'all too dumb to even see it. Well, I'm with I got my ring and I look on Shaq got his. Who is Shaq? You idolize Shaq? Shaq ain't nobody, but somebody played basketball, made some sacrifices like they all did. Okay. And now is in a position to enjoy around all that wickedness and see beauty at the same time. But what beauty? What's real beauty? How is that beauty when you betray the walk of life you on with everybody else? Based on the sacrilege of an ideology of those who showed themselves to be perverse, nobody's going to do nothing. And America's in our pocket. And who remembers when they was talking about the video where it showed the fake rabbi, this Satanist, whatever you want to call him. All right, that's a we need to stop saying that because that's a throw off. That's distraction of what they really is, who they're being led by. When he was talking to Netanyahu saying, when are we going to get America? Because we're ready to usher in, you know, the Antichrist or whatever you want to call it, their Messiah. And that was a live video. It was played on TikTok. I think they removed it. And he says, very soon. And even he, in one of his speeches, alluded to the fact, America, shut up. You can't say nothing. We're going to get whatever we need and whatever we want. Why are we paying them? See, this is what y'all don't want to hear. For a fake ass Holocaust that didn't happen the way it said. When I pointed out gypsies and people of Spanish origin, this, that, and other, who were murdered, who still have some original bloodlines. Yes, killed in those so-called concentration camps. Worked to death, put it. Okay? People don't want to accept this reality. And here you are on your ancestral soil with a bunch of hypocrites who don't know nothing except for the little lives they existed. You know, they vehemently talk, they have racist, this, that, and the other. Melanated people are just, and you got to see some of the melanated people on the police force now. They are some of the dumbest, retarded looking mother suckers I've ever seen in my existence. And they think they're really about something because, you know, they're young. They don't know what's really waiting for them. Green on green, blue on blue. It's just going to happen. And it ain't good because they set themselves in a position of ignorance, thinking it's exuding power, while they're betraying the walks because they don't know what the hell the job really is about, because they've gotten into a tyrannical mind state, because the system, the fake professors, and everybody else has created this very unprofessional yet professional perversion of existence. The we against them and the them against us nonsense. And then you look. Why did they send them over there for training when they could have went to the KGB, to Russia? They could have went to all these places. Most people learn how to do things over here that is perversion. But they don't want to believe that. There's so much more. Y'all, when you go into the Philippines, it's also considered as a motherland, which is derived from the word Anang Bayan, which means motherland. And it goes on and on and on. But you talk to any melanated person and call them African back in the 1800s, even the early 1900s, and they'd kill you. And I know this firsthand by people put a lot of light-skinned folks in the grave, and even some old black church clergy members in the grave. I'm not advocating violence. I'm making a statement based upon facts. You can probably research this stuff. Okay? And they have to keep this false narrative. You see, right now, you got pale skins attempting to breach the bridge, saying, look, this is where we're at. No, y'all should have done that before. And then they still harbor this stupid racism that they blatantly think they don't exist. Liberals more so than anybody, but Republicans just want to have this, I want to be white and have my white man in town. And how's that work out for them? They still fight and kill each other like they retarded. There ain't no peace with them. Now us, we always got along. The problem is y'all are too busy, for those of you who got a heart and a place that is indicative to not just the perception of how things are perceived, but a better way of living, who actually enjoyed it. And remember how we dealt with everybody. It was, I guess you could say, love all the way around. There was nothing implicated other than those coming from the dope family and the families of freebasing. You always had those individuals who wanted to push the breach and create more problems. And you know this firsthand. Well, if change starts with you, what change are you making? I've always tested, right? So I guess I'm asking you, what change? Actually, had somebody go, okay, now, Red, I believe you were shot in your mouth. Like, I don't need you to believe shit. I told you, therefore you would know. I didn't want to make Superman out of nothing. I didn't understand it. I thought I was going to die. But I turned around and did more damage to that individual. You see what I'm saying? And that was only because I had this righteous narrative about myself. And I'm beyond, at that time when it happened, I'm beyond the scope of this. That I made my business to re-educate this brother. And see, some of y'all really still think this is some kind of Punch and Judy show. Do it look like I got a little stand with two hands up, some socks asses, and with Punch and Judy in it? Huh? I just want to know. Because we always got people that come and they run. It's Saturday, right? What is the rush? I don't, way you make me feel when you talk. That means your vibrations are really, really jacked. I want to read a little bit because I haven't. I didn't read because I was a little pissed off too. I'll be honest with you. And I wanted to get some rest because my body's been aching a lot. Not because I've been exercising, chin-ups and all that, but because there's other things that are going on. Exposing the expositions, 1851 to 1950. This is the revised 2021 from his 2019 by Howdy Mikowski. Take this hat off my head, man. I don't care. My hair is jacked, y'all. It's just, it is what it is. Look, I went to sleep. I didn't even brush it, and it is looking crazy, ain't it? So we're going to let it look crazy. It's raining right now, y'all. It's pouring down. Oh, please, put on some shorts with the panties. This ain't the beach. Some of these French tourists, man. She got a booty on her, but damn, come on. And barefooted. This is not rain. This is not just water. Yo, well. That's the second time her and a friend came out there running from that's just dumb. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. You ain't nothing you can do. Look, man, I'm about you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna run around and silver iodine and these chemicals. You know when it gets into the pores of your feet. No, y'all remember that, okay? And if I know a lot of y'all take showers once or twice a day. I know it. Please get a filter on it. You're gonna ask the original Lone Wolf, the filter that I had him get. It's phenomenal. Get you a good filter. All right. Get you a Life Straw. make you a natural filter while you can, because these chemicals aren't going to stop. They're going to get worse. You can take out more people. You remember how Easy E caught AIDS in the week he was, you know what I'm saying? Somebody hit him up with a heavy dose. Same thing with cancer. I've seen it. And I know some of the people who have worked in the medical field have seen it. They got that level 4 or whatever, cancer that just run right through your body. And there have been cases where people, they call it, oh, they got the flesh-eating disease. It was a form of cancer. MRSA. That's a form of cancer. It's what triggers it. What triggers it? And what in an environment is supposed to be so clean can be infectious. Anything can be infectious to MRSA or cancer. It can feed it. It can cause it to speed up or slow down. Some of y'all research this. How does cancer act under certain frequencies? It's always in your bodies and it's not cancer. But it's something that can be triggered, just like white blood cells attacking something. And if you're O positive, sometimes it overdoes it and your body starts to shut down because, well, it starts to react different because it's attacking itself now. Just look into this stuff, people. So when they start ringing that bell and these things start popping off at 100, 200%, those things are going to go free radical. That means unhinged. It's going to, and like I said yesterday, the medical institutions aren't built to handle it. And most of you don't know what herbs and what tinctures and things to make right now because you haven't taken the time. Even with me showing you just a few things. Soursop leaves are excellent. Not everybody can partake in that. How many of y'all have prickly cucumbers? I'm only asking. How many of you have iodine pills? I ain't talking about some crappy salt. How many of you can make it juicing fruits, mostly vegetables, once a day for at least 6 months? I'm only asking because it matters. Because the next reset ain't going to be as simple as this one. That was a reset. For us using that term loosely and lazily. I just really want to know. So let me go ahead and get into this. I'm going to read a little bit. How about this odd photo that you will have to see at the footnote? It is a group of women high on a hill getting their selfie taken with a burning city in the background. Why would they be so happy and joyous? Well, remember when the trade centers came down and those Jewish students or Mossad agents were over there across the river, jumping for joy and saluting at the work they did, flying around it for weeks before they went in there, and certain floors are cut off, and there were balls of molting, there were balls in there that were pouring out molting and thermite. Because everybody that was there knew it. It was like something that worked on jets, fuel jets, fuel jets, JP4, JP5, blah, 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 blah. Could have worked at Grumman, this, another, anything. Over in contracting overseas, 100,000 years, taking care of A7s and F-18s. And we saw this stuff going, dude, that's not still don't do that under the stress of a thermal, like damn near $1,000 less temperature to melt from some aircraft or even an office fire. There's just no way. Even with everything in there burning, there's no way. But as all the fire department and the police people who came out, it says they heard explosions underneath, on top. They saw mantle, they saw stuff pouring. And you see where it led to. But because you have so many people who are ignorant of this land, they love their little world they live in. Now that is having a cause and effect in the wars they put us in and kept us in. Now they want to reach out to us. Now I'm not saying no, but I'm saying no, there has to be. This is how it's going to be. Stand down your stupidity. And y'all need to wake up and start stepping to these preachers and all these bastards and straightening them out and telling these goofy Moors and all these other niggas, man, stay away from us. Black Power movement, stay the fuck over there. Y'all need to know the importance of this right now. Or you can still go ahead and keep making Hayes way with it. As if you're going to figure out something new. That's what's wrong with you. You always think you want to be the center of something. Anyway, why would they be so happy and joyous? That makes no sense. Are they time travelers? Some group involved in creating the disaster? Just sick psychopaths? Or is something else going on here? It almost Feels like to me, all the people in these photos are just like the people in the videos from the streetcar, actors, movie extras, actors doing this on movie sets to take pictures with the stars of the set they are working on. I see the people in these, that's why I said nothing new under the sun. I see the people in these photographs as people who are paid to be there and make it look like something is happening. But what is happening? Was there really an earthquake? How about the photos of the destruction itself? Go look at more yourself on the go look at more yourself on the internet. The city is basically crushed. What actually does that kind of damage? Direct bombardment by a battleship, bombs from a B-29. Interestingly, the Roman pillars and the giant domes seems to make it through. But the next photo is very problematic. So this is the one with the ladies and they're taking selfies and pictures and all that kind of stuff while the city down below is burning. They always try to white it out. They always try to white it out so you can't see the sky, how clear it was, and some of the blimps that we created. But that's all fire down there. And these women, oh, this is a real picture. Okay, they're taking photos. Look how they're dressed. They're not from here. Okay. Now, San Francisco, 41 days after the earthquake. This is supposed to be taken over a month after the earthquake in May 1906. Another image shows even cleaner streets just 2 weeks after. First off, look at the damage. It appears as though 90% of this part of the city is wiped out. Again, that looks like the site of World War II bombing raid. Yes, earthquakes can be devastating, but I've seen the worst of earthquakes, and they don't do nothing like this. We have all seen images of several city blocks after an earthquake looking like they have been nuked. Secondly, and more odd, where is all the rubble of the collapsed structures? You cannot clean up the remains of 10,000 destroyed buildings in a few weeks. It took years to clean up after the collapse of the World Trade Center in New York, and y'all should remember that. And that is with the best modern equipment. Horse crews could not clean up an entire city after an earthquake this fast. And the city looks vaporized, and I don't think a giant fire alone can do that. What is more odd is how most of the wooden utility poles, electricity or wireless internet or whatever they are, seem to make it through the fires just fine. And yes, on here you can see, if you go on the internet and pull up San Francisco 41 days after the earthquake, you can still see all those poles that carry free energy standing up. This, and y'all want to know about nuclear wars and stuff, and y'all think it's new. They did it in Russia as well. Are you paying attention? You thought we wasn't going to get to the good stuff? It could burn. Anyway, it is also claimed that San Francisco could burn so fast, like all the other fire cities, was because all the buildings were made of wood, which is lies. Yet look close at the 1877-78 panorama. Again, early in this chapter, there are few wood buildings there. Most are brick and stone, marble and asphalt and sandstone. Something is just not right with these city destruction stories. Can we get some other clues about it? Now, this is the odd Agassiz statue of Stanford University just after the quake. I want you to see this. Remember I showed this before? After the quake, it fell down and head first into the ground. And the other one's still up there. But you see the building standing, right? You want to know what happened to a lot of our people? Well, they were still in those cities. They want you to believe that they came here and there was only a few million of us. Man, there was more than there is now. Hundreds of millions of us. That's why we was able to stay here and keep them off. Now you have a lot of light-skinned folks running around. Y'all call them white. So when I say light-skinned, know what I mean. They're Negro. I'm not trying to push something new. Most of them don't have a clue. All right? Because that's how stupid their parents were. And their parents before them allowed it if they had not died. And we all know this story. Okay? We all know this story. We'll be getting into that next one, okay? The Agassiz. Where did I put that? Was you up here playing with it, Papa? Fast up. Yeah, you was playing with it. Well, at least you being quiet. What you walking back and pacing back and forth for? Like you want to tackle my feet, fool? I don't think he likes my Timberlands. Now, well, I stomp so hard when I'm walking. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of this Heaven Bearers, the new age of deception. Is that a notification? What is that? Okay. So, hey, Heaven Bearer Slaughter. Hey, Grand Ascension. What's going on, beloved? Herbo, what's up, beloved? Dion, what's going on, beloved? I want to shout everybody out. Benji, hi, what's going on, beloved? Oh, Max, it's good to have you up in here. Tariq, I was trying to call Max B. What's going on, beloved? Try before I call Ganja, maybe Trip or something. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Tihan, Snoo, I got my baby girl. I think she's at work today. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of this in. So, this is Heaven Bearers. This is New Age of Deception by Janine Helen. Excellent book. I'm still looking for the third one because I want to order that right away. Okay. As you see the snake running around her, supposed to mean deception. You know, it's not what it actually means. A lot of y'all now know what the snake literally meant. It meant this knowledge. It has nothing to do with good or bad. Everybody has a choice, right? I had to let my goji berries. Look at this, y'all. Y'all want to see something? So, this is the still water, lime, goji berries, blueberries, and ginger. Now I just had to add some cyan cinnamon to it, which is sitting right. Okay, it's back on the counter. Hey, another thing it's good to have. I got a whole bunch of these. If you ever get the chance, buy you some oxygen boost. All right, this is I think it's like 30 seconds, 3 liters. Get you some of these. You get a box of them. They're not too expensive. Get you some of these. All right. In case you have a gas mask and you need to get to your gas mask, these are not hard to use. They're very easy. It's almost like a Hughes bottle that we use in the military. Like you're in a helicopter and you go in to drink and it flips upside down and you got to find your way out. You got 3 minutes of air to get you back to the top slowly so you don't get the bends and stuff. With your life vest to keep you float, flotation device. All right, so go ahead and get some of those. All right. And make that. You can make it room temperature. You don't have to use boiling water. I made it with half boiling water, and then I added cool water because I wanted to cool off. Just want the goji berries to hydrate. And it's a really good drink. All right. If you want psilocybin, you can go ahead and add trumpet mushrooms and stuff like that right to the water. And then as you drink it down, eat the mushroom. You know the trumpet mushroom, trumpet Solomon. You get the Solomon that's in it. Most mushrooms have. They're kind of big, fat. Plop you one in there. Make sure it's clean. And let it soak it up. And let me tell you something. By the time you get through sipping that, after it's set for about an hour or two, that's how early you prep it. You eat that mushroom and you get all that goodness. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Malcolm arranges to have Bonnie taken back to their home so he can keep an eye on her. There is nothing medically they can do for her. But here, in her home, which is a place of safety and familiarity, she will have him and their children around her. Familiarity. Excuse me, guys, for snow. It's raining hard. Okay. Perhaps this familiarity will be enough to awaken her physical senses and bring her back to this reality. Her skin is still warm, almost hot. Now, the temperatures you would expect from a person that is experiencing a light fever. So we're pushing like 95 probably or something like that, right? Her eyes remain open and golden in color. I think it's 105. They say you're supposed to be boiling, brains boiling, and you're supposed to be on the precipice of dying. I've been at 105, 107. So, I don't know what they mean by that. The blue completely gone. Anyway, her eyes remain open and golden in color. The blue completely gone and leaving not a single trace that ever resided in her eyes. She doesn't blink or move, and that writing on her neck is still visible, but it has changed slightly and is now dull. No one has been able to translate it. The librarian that reached out to the healer was wrong. The writing was not the same, and the conclusion was officially drawn that whatever it said and whatever she was, it was not of this world. Malcolm takes a seat next to her on the bed and touches her cheek softly, not knowing what he even hopes to achieve by being there. He moves his finger down to the writing on her neck, and he immediately gets this eerie feeling. It is the same feeling he got that evening when her body and mind weren't her own. He closes his eyes and block out the sounds that rings loud in his head. And then out of nowhere, a thought hits him. A barcode. He thinks as he opens his eyes and looks at it once more. This time his eyes are glued to the almost repetitive illustrations that form a type of pattern. It can't be that simple, he thought, realizing that a barcode is something that was given to a product that was placed on a shelf in a store and waited to be bought. No, he mutters and gets up angrily from the bed. Bonnie is not a product, he reminds Mother Nature and anyone else that can hear his thoughts, and leaves the room angrily. His feet are heavy and his heart is sour, knowing that his instincts are usually never wrong. He shakes away the feelings and goes to check on the children. Jane is with them and they are happy and content without him, and even worse, without her. They are still so small and they didn't get a chance to even know her. He justifies the thought and sighs out with frustration. The situation is hopeless. He runs his left hand through his dark, straight hair and leaves the room, not wanting to drown out their happiness with his never-ending pity and dread. Dread for what she must be going through, and pity that he is utterly useless to help her. He failed her, and there is no forgiveness for such failure. Work distracts him, and right now he could do with a distraction. He grabs a bottle of red wine. Now, that's a brother after my own heart. Anyway, an aged Merlot. Woo! Haven't had it in a while. From France. Wow, those days. And heads to his office. There is plenty of work to do, and he is more than happy to get stuck right in. A week goes by, followed by another. Another 2 weeks disappear, and there is no change. That's a month for you guys who don't know that. The days have become monotonous, beginning and ending with her in his bed and at his side. Every second that he is awake is another second that becomes utter frustration. Cashapp has assumed the role of ruler and has taken her place. He was a natural and correct choice at such short notice, but he hasn't won over the people. Cashapp is arrogant and uncertain of himself and always puts Tartaria first. This is what makes him a great general, but does not equate to a good leader. Remember that. Bonnie displayed everything that was required of a natural leader. More importantly, it was natural to her. Cause and effect, the duality present in every facet of life, responded as expected, and they naturally accepted her. You know what duality is? The physical and the spiritual. It is not, I'm going to be a female because I'm a male. That is not duality. That's some perversion. Duality is also when you can make a better choice than most. But doesn't mean that they didn't make a good choice. Some people just have a better presence when making those choices. You know what I'm saying? So duality can mean a plethora of things. Anyway, face of life, cause and effect, the duality present in every facet of life, responded as expected, and they naturally accepted her. Awful rumors are starting to spread. Rumors which contain truth, which are the most dangerous kind, and Cashapp needed an ally. Malcolm tried to step in where he could to bring neutrality to an already unbalanced situation, but Cashapp blames him for what happened to her and rejects his counsel. Egos and self-pride and coveting are the worst things. And coveting, my brothers and sisters, will destroy you. You need to swallow your pride and accept that she isn't coming back anytime soon. Someone needs to take over as nominated ruler and rule the empire with honor and example. This will not be you, Cassiel. Someone else needs to step forward, and this must happen now. Malcolm barks at him and outright rejects the notion that he will be her replacement for the third time now. His voice was overly harsh, and the expression imprinted on the faces before him, making him aware that his temper was overboard and inappropriately cruel. I'm sorry, he says reluctantly, taking his seat next to the others, and stares blankly out of the oval window. He wishes he could magically create the right answer in order to move things forward, which would be to the benefit of all here today and produce long-term results, rather than the mere time period of now, which Cassiel is fixated on. He admires his hope that she will come back, but something more than mere hope is required now. They need action. So the girl that fought the heaven bearers, the hell, whatever you want to call them, and all that, all of a sudden was struck, disposed of in a way, like canonized. You know what I'm saying? To just a certain, like just catatonic. You know what I'm saying? Canonized. We're going to leave it like that, and that's the way it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like a book that was written and closed all of a sudden. It's canonized. That's it. We done put in, took away what we want. And that's pretty heavy with somebody who was capable of what she's capable of. And I guess now we'll see what we're getting to the point where it's going to get into the new age of deception. Okay? And the thoughts that I would ponder is, who would want such a thing to happen? What position, or was it the fact that somebody survived and made it through the crack in the firmament? That, excuse me. Maybe he had some offspring, or he came back as another individual in a different body and was able to cast some other kind of spells or energy. Because remember, he had powers. All right. So I hope y'all enjoyed that reading and this little talk. We hit at about an hour. Charles Johnson, what's going on, beloved? What's happening? What's happening? Yes, sir. That's right. Anyway, I appreciate y'all taking the time. I didn't want to be too grave, the grave digging. I don't want to be part of that. But sometimes things have to be broached upon, things have to be discussed. You know what I mean? And yes, sister, whatever, I forget your name, German and American Indian. Yes. By the new age of what Germany is. That's not the actual name, but the people knew what they were doing when they came back and what was going on. As you saw with Curamio yesterday, talking about the Bunta people, you know what I'm saying, and the fact that they're original Persians. Now, I already expressed those wars and the change, and then how do you say, like we see in Palestine right now, the same thing, the murderous repetition of the original inhabitants, even down to when you're messing now with crypto and Sephardic Jews, which Palestine is, and then the original ones that are still there. There are, just like in Iraq and Pakistan, original so-called black folk who are original to the land. But the thing is, they eradicate that, and they use any and everybody. And you would say, well, if these are the Hebrew people, what are they being taught that y'all don't hear nothing about? To rebel rouse them and get them to the point where they want to strike out. That's why I said it's important to go back and read the old books that they were forcing down these children, but also the conversations around the tables. And some of them, a lot of these so-called converted Jews are some of the most racist individuals in the world with their fake identity. Isn't that mind-boggling? No, a lot of them are, honey. They just mix. Don't get too. A lot of them, some of them mixed. Arabs and Gujarats are one and the same. What they did to the people over there, they did to the women. They raped a lot of them and made a lot of new babies. And they were even deals bracket. We shake hands and I'll take your daughter to wife, and everything will be good, which was always a lie. And then they would do what's called a hostile takeover and blah, blah, like Knights of the Long Sword. This is prevalent with them. And most people have this is a book right here. This is a real book. Do I have it? Yeah, I think it's in the shed. I didn't pull it out because I don't want to read it. Let me see if I put it right. These motherfuckers said cooperation between Jewish and African American organizations peaked after World War II. Bullshit. So, the Negroes and the Jews. And this is a different book from what this is what they're doing now. This is Amazon, right? I remember it was always this secret relationship between the blacks and the Jews. And it's supposed to be a book. Let me see. And most people have a hard time dealing with that. And I always say, well, I'll show you one of the pictures I have. I'm just trying to find the book. Where is it at? Because they always change things up because they don't want it. Yeah, we don't want it to be. But, you know what I mean. All right. Saul Friedman. I already got a couple books on that fool. In this groundbreaking book, likely to stand as the definitive word of the subject, Eli Faber cuts through this cloud of mystification to capture an important chapter in both Jewish and African diaspora history. Really, there's no such thing. It's all a lie. So you can go ahead and I'll download this PDF. This is New York University Press, New York, and so you know it's mostly lies. But that's slaves and the slave trade. Okay. So, okay. And you can read this for yourself for those who want to go in there and see how these Jews write so many freaking lies. And the beautiful thing is, I want you to look at the individuals who have bought into the crap. This is the phenomenal. This is so. Where's it at? All right, Mysteries of Lies: The Truth Behind the Nation of Islam's The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. All right, I'm going to Hakeem's bookstore. I don't like going to Muslim bookstores because they're just as biased as the Jews, but at least they attempt to get a little more information. But when you're dealing with 305 like Nation of Islam, stuff like that. So this is one of the books that you get it. Okay. And the other one, that's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for the one that I have. As far as the Leo Frank case and stuff like that. I mean, talk about the lynching of a guilty man. Okay, this is the one right here. So it's about $30. The secret relationship between blacks and Jews, how Jews gain control of the Black American economy. Yes, sir. Who created the Ku Klux Klan? Remember his name? So I have the one that mine is black with gold. I'm gonna order this one so I can read it to you guys. It's $30. I'll wait till this weekend. I'm not gonna order right now. And they already sent me a message. Hey, welcome back. No, so that's a bit Batty Botanicals LLC. So I'll order that book down the road. Anyway, it's pretty funky and it's pretty comical, the fact that they told on themselves so much in these books. So anyway, if you could pull a PDF down, you want to look at it yourself, you want to go over it and see what you find, have at it. I can't blame you. I do it. So I'm going to order the book and we'll see, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I appreciate y'all coming in and I will be back later, probably. And I got to go to the post office today. And I really don't want to. I might just wait till Monday. We'll see. All right. So appreciate you guys again. And I'll see y'all here in a few hours. Maybe. No, that's mostly lies. Thank you for the sharing. Oh, always, sister. My baby girl must be at work. So you was here. You said, hi. She died. I love that. Okay, I'll have to get the book. Yeah, get the book. The Palestinians there ain't, or, well, yeah, well, they are. But they're just different from what they were. Because I've been to Palestine. The Gaza's fake. There's no Gaza. That's all made up by this fake ass Zionists. And It is. And it's nothing but bastards from here and all these European countries that went over there converted to so fake ass Judaism. That's not the real thing. And it's just more soldiers, and the very people that created them would sacrifice all of them for a bigger. And see, this is how sick it is. But we'll talk about that another time. All right. So anyway, appreciate y'all. And there are people over there, Palestinians, dark like this. All right, you just don't see them. They're there, babe. They're there. I've been there so many times. All right. See you guys later. All right.